Okay, so we're diving into this new Malayalam action thriller, Identity.
Oh.
Yeah. And the plot is, well, let's just say it's wild.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
All right, so picture this. You've got a witness to a crime, right?
Yeah.
But there's a catch.
Okay, there's always a catch.
This witness, she can't recognize faces. Face blindness.
Wow, that's a pretty big obstacle for a witness.
Exactly. So naturally, she's placed under protection, and well, things get complicated, as you might imagine.
Oh, I bet they do.
Yeah, and I've been digging into it, and I've got two different takes on the film.
Okay, lay them on me.
One is a full review, and the other is like a video breakdown.
Nice.
And get this movie, it's got more twists than a pretzel factory.
Whoa, more twists than a pretzel factory. Okay, you definitely got my attention.
Right. Face blindness in a thriller. I mean, talk about a recipe for suspense.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like it puts the audience right there with the witness, fumbling through the mystery, trying to piece things together without that crucial visual element of recognizing faces.
Right. And the review I read, they called it like a well-paced, entertaining thriller that keeps you guessing.
Sounds promising.
But there's always a but, right? They did mention a few logical loopholes.
Oh, like what?
Just, how many coincidences can one movie have?
Yeah, right.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, I get it. It's always a tightrope walk,
Yeah.
Trying to balance that suspense and keep the audience on the edge of their seats while still keeping things believable.
Right.
It sounds like Identity. Maybe it leans more towards entertainment.
Oh, definitely.
Than strict realism.
For sure.
Which, hey, sometimes that's all you need.
Exactly.
Like a good, fun, entertaining ride.
Totally. And there's also this, debate going on about Trisha's performance in the film.
Oh, really? Tell me more.
So one of the reviews, they found her role a little underdeveloped.
Okay.
And they weren't crazy about the dubbing either. They found it a bit distracting.
It's interesting.
But the video review, on the other hand, they praised her performance. They thought she was part of a strong cast.
Huh. So it's like a difference of opinion on what makes a character truly stand out, I guess?
What do you think? What makes a character truly memorable for you?
Well, for me, it's that, that lingering feeling.
Yeah.
Like when you finish the movie and you can't stop thinking about that character.
Okay, I like that.
It could be the way they react in certain situations or maybe just like a little quirk.
Yeah, something unique.
Yeah, something that makes them feel real, like a real person.
Oh, I get it.
The actor really has to bring something special to the role.
Totally.
Something beyond just the words on the page.
Yeah, that extra something.
Yeah, that extra layer that just makes them unforgettable.
Okay, well, speaking of unforgettable, we've got to talk about these twists in Identity.
The pretzel factory level twists. Yes, please.
Right. So one review, they said the second half of the movie, it's absolutely packed with twists.
Oh.
But then the video breakdown, they said the screenplay might be too convoluted.
Oh.
It's almost too much to follow all the threads.
Interesting.
So it's almost like, personal preference comes in.
Right.
Like some people love that super complex plot that they have to untangle, while others just want something more straightforward.
Totally. Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, it really is. And it sounds like this movie, Identity, almost wants to have its cake and eat it too.
How so?
Well, it wants to be this super intricate thriller, but maybe it trips over its own cleverness a bit.
I do.
So you've got to wonder, does all that complexity, does it actually serve the story?
Right.
Or does it end up becoming a distraction?
That's the question, isn't it? It's like, is the movie actually smart? Or is it just trying to look smart?
Exactly. Okay, but let's move on to some common ground here.
Okay, sounds good.
Both of the reviewers we looked at, they agreed on a few key things.
Let's hear it.
First off, they both praised the performances, particularly from Tovino Thomas and Vinay Rai.
Okay, I've heard good things about Tovino Thomas.
Yeah, he plays this character who's like a total obsessive perfectionist.
Interesting.
And apparently his personality stems from like a traumatic childhood.
Oh, wow.
Which ends up being a big part of how the case gets solved.
So his past is directly tied to the mystery.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got great performances, a twisty plot.
Yep.
But what about the technical stuff, the filmmaking itself?
The nuts and bolts.
Right. Well, both reviewers were super impressed with that too.
Nice.
They specifically mentioned the cinematography,
Oh, okay.
the sound design, and the action choreography.
Sounds like they really brought their A game.
Yeah, they did. Oh, and they raved about this climax scene that takes place on an airplane.
An airplane? Wow, that's a pretty unique setting for a climax.
Right. Apparently, it's a real standout moment.
Okay, so we're building a pretty exciting picture here.
We are. But we can't forget about the music.
Ah, yes, the soundtrack.
One review I saw, they said the score, it's by Jakes Bejoy, and they said it pushes you to feel the emotion even before the action does.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty powerful statement.
Right. It's like the music is setting you up, priming you for what's about to happen emotionally, even before you see it on screen.
Music can be so powerful in film.
Absolutely. A great score, it can really make or break a scene.
No doubt about it. It works on you almost, like subconsciously, you know?
I know, right.
Amplifying the emotion without you even realizing it.
It's subtle, but incredibly effective.
Totally. I mean, think about like classic horror movie scores.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
They just build that dread and anticipation before anything scary even happens on screen.
Yes.
You hear those strings start to creep in and you're like, oh, something bad is about to go down.
It's so true. You just know it's coming.
And that's the magic of a good film score.
It's true. It adds a whole other layer to the storytelling.
Yeah, it sets the mood perfectly, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Okay, so we've talked about the plot, the characters, that awesome airplane climax.
Yeah, and the technical stuff.
Yeah, even the music. So what's the verdict? Is Identity worth a watch?
Well, from what I've gathered, both reviewers seem to agree on one thing.
Okay.
It's a thrilling ride.
Sounds good.
But they do say you might have to, suspend your disbelief a bit.
Ah, right, those logical loopholes.
Yeah, exactly. But even with those flaws, they ultimately found it entertaining.
Okay, so a fun, action-packed thriller with maybe a few plot holes along the way.
Pretty much, yeah.
Sounds right up my alley.
Mine too. And going back to that idea of interconnected pasts,
yeah,
it really adds another layer to the whole thing, doesn't it? It makes you think about how our choices, they can have these like ripple effects.
Oh, interesting.
Affecting people we may never even meet.
Whoa, that's getting pretty deep.
Right. It's like the butterfly effect, but on a human level.
I like that.
Yeah.
One small action setting off this whole chain of events.
Exactly. And in Identity, those ripples, they seem to be colliding head on.
So it's not just about the mystery in the present, it's about the past catching up with everyone.
Exactly. Makes you wonder, are we really in control of our own destinies? Or are we all just caught in this web of interconnected experiences?
That's a heavy question. It almost feels like the movie is saying we're all products of our past,
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it also seems to suggest we have the power to break free from those patterns.
Oh, I see what you mean, like a constant push and pull between fate and free will.
Exactly. I love that it's not just a straightforward action thriller. It's making you think about these bigger philosophical questions.
Totally. It's using the genre as a springboard to explore something deeper.
Right. And that's what makes it so engaging. It's not just explosions and car chases.
No, it's got that extra layer.
It's making you think about the complexities of identity.
And the power of choice.
Yeah, exactly. Now, that's what I call a deep dive.
We're getting deep here.
Okay, before we move on, let's circle back to that airplane scene for a sec.
The climax.
Yeah, both reviewers, they raved about it.
I know, it sounds intense.
They were praising the visuals, the performances, everything.
They really pulled out all the stops for that one, huh?
It sounds like it.
Makes you want to see it just for that scene.
Right. Okay, so just to recap, we've got a complex plot, memorable characters, stunning visuals.
Don't forget that powerful score.
Oh, yeah. And thought-provoking themes.
Sounds like Identity has all the makings of a truly compelling film.
It does. And it's definitely sparked some interesting conversation for us today.
It has, for sure.
But we want to hear from you, too. What are your thoughts on this whole idea of interconnected pasts?
Yeah, do you think our choices really have that kind of ripple effect on the world around us?
Let us know in the comments.
We're always up for a good discussion.
All right. Before we send everyone off to add Identity to their watch list, any final thoughts?
For me, I think the big takeaway is that even with all those twists and turns, Identity seems to be grounded in this idea that our past really does shape us,
Definitely.
But then it also hints that maybe, just maybe, we can choose how those experiences actually define us.
Right, like we're not just stuck with whatever happened.
Exactly. It's a reminder that, we're not just passengers in our own lives.
Right.
We can make choices.
Yeah.
We can learn from our mistakes.
And forge our own paths.
Exactly.
Even though our lives are like interwoven,
yeah,
it's still our choices that matter.
I love that. So, look, if you're looking for a thriller, but you want something more than just explosions and car chases.
Yeah, a little more depth.
Exactly. If you want a film that makes you think about, who we are, the power of choice, all that.
Then Identity might be the one for you.
Definitely. And who knows? Maybe it'll even inspire you to take a closer look at your own life. See those connections, those threads that run through everything.
And ripple effects.
And maybe make some bold choices yourself.
Now you're talking.
That's what we love about a good deep dive.
Absolutely.
It's not just about the information, it's about the spark,
It gets the wheels turning.
It does.
Yeah.
So go check out Identity and let us know what you think. We're always up for a good discussion.
Always. Keep those comments coming.
All right, that's it for this deep dive. Until next time.
Keep exploring. Keep questioning.
And keep those deep dives going.
We'll see you in the next one.